content of this channel is for mature audiences. Parental discretion is advised. You're tuned in to the Green Gorilla channel. Please make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell notification button. And please, feel free to share the video. Thank you.
What's good, everybody? I'm Gigi. You're tuned in to the Green Gorilla channel. It's the place where black men can express themselves freely, straight up with no chases. And, you know, I'm moving beyond the beaten path. I got another show I'm going to do a little bit later on today, but I just wanted to weigh in on what's going on with one of my favorite television shows, which was one of my favorite television shows, named The Mandalorian. Now, I don't expect a lot of people to be here or to feed into what it is I have to say about this issue, because I know most people probably don't even watch sci-fi in this space. However, let me just say this, man. I stumbled across the show. I said, let me give it a try, okay? But before I even do that, man, let me just say this, man. The themes of adventure, honor, survival, and redemption, stories like that have captivated audiences from time immemorial, man, for millennia, transcending culture and time. So before you had science fiction television show heroes and Western heroes, you had ancient stories and myths that gave up similar tales that resonated with audiences, particularly with men. From the Greek hero Odysseus to the Egyptian shipwreck sailor, timeless tales have had enduring appeal. Timeless tales that explore these kind of themes. So the Odyssey is Homer's epic poem. It tells the story of Odysseus, the king of Ithaca, as he journeys home after the Trojan War. His tale is filled with adventure as Odysseus faces numerous obstacles, including monsters like the Cyclops and the Sirens, and angry gods like Poseidon, and having to deal with the treacherous sea, which is trying to prevent him from getting back home. But his unwavering determination and his cunning are reminiscent of a classic Western hero or a sci-fi hero. And his ultimate goal of returning to his loved ones strikes a chord with men who value family and home. You have the story of the Egyptian shipwreck sailor, which is an ancient Egyptian story dating back to the Middle Kingdom of Egypt, which recounts the tale of a shipwrecked sailor who finds himself stranded on a deserted island. And facing the challenges of survival, he encounters a powerful serpent who eventually ends up sharing wisdom with him, and he eventually gets helped by this serpent so that he can return home. And the story resonates with men because of its theme of survival and resilience and the pursuit of knowledge, as well as the sailor's eventual return to his family. You have the Epic of Gilgamesh, which is an ancient Mesopotamian tale. One can consider it to be the world's first great work of literature. Tells the story of a king in his quest for immortality. He's accompanied by a sidekick, Enkidu. And Gilgamesh faces various trials and tribulations, ultimately learning about the true nature of life and death. And the story resonates with men as it explores the themes of friendship, adventure, and the human desire to overcome mortality. I'm not going to get into any other stories, but there are many like this. These ancient stories have captivated audiences for centuries because they explore adventure. They talk about survival. They cover the subject matter of honor and deal with the subject matter of redemption. And these kind of themes resonate with men today, just as do, say, for example, Westerns. And modern day science fiction heroes because they give us insight into human nature. They offer us glimpses into the values, the struggles, and the aspirations that have shaped humanity from the beginning. Now, say what you want to say about Westerns and colonialism and what have you. The classic Western genre is nothing more than a contemporary representation of these ancient stories, with its tales of rugged cowboys and gunslinging outlaws and wild frontier towns. So even as movies and televisions evolve, classical Western theater or movies continue to hold a special place in the hearts of men. I remember my stepfather, my uncle, and various men, watching Westerns when I was a young boy. I'm 50 years old now. But the question is, why do these stories resonate so strongly with male audiences? Well, for one, they are symbols of masculinity. And one of the key reasons classic Westerns resonate with men is their portrayal of strong masculine characters. They showcase iconic actors like John Wayne, Clint Eastwood, Gary Cooper, who embody strength and grit and determination. And in a world where gender roles seems to be all over the place, the films provide an escape to a time where men were expected to be tough and strong and resilient, and people who protected their loved ones and stood up for what they believed in. So also they were places where you could explore codes of honor. So at the core of classic Westerns is a code of honor that governs the actions of the protagonist. The characters often live by a set of unwritten rules that guide them in their pursuit of justice or fairness or whatever it is they're trying to achieve, right? And the appeal of these kind of stories, it lies in their simplicity and the clarity of the values, which offer men a sense of a moral compass. They can feel lost in today's complex gender-bending society, right? Then you got the pursuit of adventure. As long as you have men, you're gonna have stories that appeal to them about untamed landscapes and vast expanses. And Westerns do that, right? The American West provided a perfect backdrop for tales of adventure and exploration. And men are naturally drawn to stories that involve overcoming challenges, discovering new frontiers, facing the unknown. And classic Westerns ignite a sense of excitement, allowing men to imagine themselves as fearless explorers in a world of boundless possibilities. Then you have the theme of the struggle for survival. And Westerns showcase the constant struggle for survival in a harsh and unforgiving wilderness. And the heroes in these stories have to use their wit, their strength, and determination to overcome obstacles and adversaries. And this survivalist theme is appealing to men because it taps into their primal instincts and their desire for self-reliance. And then you have also the power of redemption. Many Westerns feature characters that seek redemption for past mistakes or seeking to right the wrongs of others. And this theme resonates with men because it basically underscores the idea that everybody has the potential to change and to grow, regardless of a rocky past, right? So these redemption stories offer a sense of hope and inspiration. And they serve as reminders that it's never too late to turn your life around. And this brings us to the subject matter of The Mandalorian and Star Wars in general. Because if you look at it, Star Wars in and of itself is nothing but a fucking space Western, man. That's what it is. With its epic battles and its intriguing characters and its captivating storylines, right? It's captured the imaginations of millions of people, man. It's set in a galaxy far, far away. And it shares many elements, though, with the classical Western genre. And it makes it appealing to men. And the connection was especially evident in the Disney Plus series, The Mandalorian, when it first came out. But now it's not. In the first and the second seasons of The Mandalorian, you can easily see the parallels between the futuristic show and Westerns and how these similarities contributed to the show's enduring appeal. You had, the lone gunslinger. So, The Mandalorian is played by the voice actor Pedro Pascal. And he embodies the archetype of the Western hero. A lone gunslinger roaming the outer reaches of the galaxy, relying on his skills, his wits, and his determination in order to survive. And his character resonated with men because it invoked the whole aura of rugged individualism, self-reliance, and stoicism, often associated with classical Western protagonists. You had a code of honor. Much like the classic Westerns, right? The Mandalorian adhered or used to adhere to a strict set of rules known as the Mandalorian Creed, which guided his actions and decisions throughout the series. But now the shit's turned over. This is not the show that I first started viewing 3 or 4 years ago, okay? You have a frontier setting, right? So in both Westerns and Star Wars, the stories take place on the outskirts of civilization, where, the line between good and evil is often blurred. And you have lawlessness, which abounds. And then you have the quintessential protagonist who's there to provide order and justice when people want to, cross the line. So, Mandalorian is no exception. Okay? And the frontier setting provides the perfect backdrop for adventures and challenges. You got the struggle for survival. And the Star Wars universe, just like the American West, is full of danger and adversity. The characters have to rely on their skills, their strength, and their determination to survive and to protect those that they care about. And this theme of survival was particularly prominent in the first 2 seasons of The Mandalorian as Mando fought to protect the child, an adorable green little baby Yoda. Right? A creature with special abilities. We don't know what his race is, but we know, the little kid is a baby Yoda. And, this struggle for survival in the story tapped into men's primal instincts. And then you have the power of redemption, right? If you want to talk about Han Solo and his transformation from a smuggler to a hero, from Darth Vader, going to the dark side and eventually coming out on the other side, Star Wars basically, it offers the chance to tell stories of change and growth. And, you got the Mandalorian. He's a character who's supposed to have evolved from a hardened bounty hunter, only worried about his own self-interest, to a compassionate guardian of the baby Yoda. It was a dope story. It was great. I was won over by, the episodic storytelling and the heartfelt bond between Din Djarin and the baby Yoda, Grogu. But the show has taken a turn in recent seasons, and it shifted its focus away from Din Djarin to Bo-Katan. Like, what the fuck happened to my show? This show is no longer about the Mandalorian. It's about Bo-Katan. And the unification of the whole Mandalorian sects, all of them, the various sects of Mandalore. This has left me disappointed, and I'm pretty sure it's left many fans disappointed as well. And ultimately, the original charm of the show is over, it's gone. So, because Bo-Katan is nothing more than a Mary Sue character, man. Yeah, look. I was caught at first, man. And I'm as the show shifted its focus towards Bo-Katan and her quest to unify the various Mandalorian sects, I just lost focus, right? Yeah, the storyline could have been a cool subplot, interesting subplot, but it's overshadowed the central relationship between Din Djarin, who is the Mandalorian, and Grogu, who's Baby Yoda. That was the original allure of the show. Also, the show's new direction has led to an influx of representational politics, which might be important to some people, but it is distracted from the core narrative of The Mandalorian. It's left many fans feeling disconnected from the story, man. Who wants to see a bunch of cameos? A cameo is not a substitute for a substantive storyline. The occasional guest appearance or nod to the larger universe can be fun. But now the show seems to prioritize cameos over its original character-driven storytelling. It not only dilutes the show's unique identity, but it distracts from the once strong bond between Din and Grogu. Now we're worried about fucking Bo-Katan. Now, if they started off a show and named it The Mandalorians, and they featured Bo-Katan, I'm cool, fine. You would have given me a choice on whether or not that's what I wanted to watch. But don't fucking bait and switch me. Don't have a show that's a basic classic Western in a futuristic setting and then fucking change it all by introducing a Mary Sue character who fucking ends up with being in control and running the whole goddamn Mandalorian sect. Who wants to see that? I don't want to see that shit. That's not what I signed up for when I first started watching the show. And this recent installment, man, I mean, it's absolute fucking garbage, bro. I'm really, like, I can't stand it, bro. Like, so, you know, in the second season, I think, is when Din Djarin came across the Darksaber. Now, the Darksaber's, like, supposed to be a saber who, you know, which was created by a Mandalorian who was part Jedi, part Mandalorian. I mean, so, you know, the worlds intersect there between the Jedi and the Mandalorian. And today, contemporarily, like, whoever holds the Darksaber is held to be, you know, the leader of the Mandalorians. But Bo-Katan had it, but she lost it to some character named Moff Gideon. And then Djarin fought him and got the damn, you know, the Darksaber. But he's never been able to actually control it. Now, I thought that eventually Din Djarin was going to learn how to master the use of the fucking Darksaber and become the leader of the fucking Mandalorians, because the show is the fucking Mandalorian. Like, this is a natural evolution, would have been the natural evolution of this character. But no, couldn't go that route. You had to fucking put in representational politics into the equation and make Bo-Katan the fucking leader of the Mandalorians now. Why tease us with this storyline or this arc in the first place? It's fucking useless. But this latest installment, I mean, it's absolute fucking hot. It's hot garbage, man. The name of it is called Guns for Hire, directed by some veteran of the franchise named Bryce Howard. And it opens up by catching us up with some character named Axe Woves, who split from Bo-Katan because she didn't have the Darksaber, okay? And at first we see Axe, you know, pulling over some ship, right, who had some abducted Mon Calamari prince, some weird ass fucking shrimp looking guy, okay? And the captain of the ship was having an affair, right, with this creature or whatever the case. So Bo, that's the first thing you see, and then they off-cut from that, and then they go to Bo-Katan, who's traveling in her ship, and she heads with Din and Grogu to a place called Plaza 15, which is a democratic planet where Axis Cruiser is parked, right? So Bo and Din learn from the planet's leaders, which are Jack Black and fucking Lizzo. Like, bro, this reminds me of a bad version of Loki. Or a bad version of Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, dude, the show was once a serious Western, space Western. Now, you got fucking Jack Black and Lizzo? What the fuck, man? What is this? It's absolutely ridiculous. It's ridiculous, man. Well, anyway, so Lizzo and Jack Black, the captain and the Duchess, learn that, or tell Bo and Din that, that Axe and the rest of the Mandos are offering protection because they have a charter which prevents them from having standing armies. So they let in Bo-Katan and Din Djarin know because weapons are part of their creed, quote unquote creed. So they get to keep them. But they only bring them in because they want something from Bo and Din, which is basically to take care of some droid problem, right? The droids are malfunctioning. What the fuck this has to do to push the storyline of the Mandalorian forward in any regard whatsoever, I have no idea. I guess it's supposed to set up a segue to where Bo-Katan can interact with Axe wolves. But it's clumsy. The story writing is absolute garbage. It's trash. So anyway, they have to solve the problem why these droids are malfunctioning, okay? So they head to some commissioner. His name is Commissioner Hellgate, played by the actor Christopher Lloyd, who basically says that there are a variety of malfunctions and safeguards that he could use, like there's a cutoff switch, but if he uses it, then it'll lead to, humans taking over again, which would be something of a, something bad, I guess. The whole scenario is stupid. So this sends Bo and Din to go look and find out and investigate. So now they become detectives trying to figure out what the fuck is going on with the damn droids. And they eventually go to some space bar. Right? A droid bar. Where, everybody stops because, I don't think our kind, normally frequent a place like this. Like, the writing is so trash. And so, anyway, one of the barkeeps, the bartender says that he wants to help because the malfunction will make them be replaced with, again, humans. And he details that the bar serves as, the droid, something called Nepentha, which is like a droid lubricant. But it has nanobots inside of it that are supposed to, give orders and, programming or whatever the case may be. But then they find out through closer investigation that the nanobots were actually put in there by Commissioner Hellgate, played by Christopher Lloyd. So Bo-Katan and, Din Djarin confront him and, they have to arrest him or whatever the case may be. And they bring him before the Duchess and the Bombardier and all of this. I mean, this whole story is just absolute fucking trash. It's bullshit. It's nonsense, man. Anyway, they figure that out, and Grogu is knighted by Lizzo, which is absolute cheesy. It's stupid. Now his name is Sir Grogu. Like, what is this, man? Anyway, so finally they get to what they're supposed to do initially anyway. Bo and Den now are able to, after having figured out what the fuck was going on with these droids, now they're able to actually confront Axe Woves and the rest of the Mandalorians. And she says, look, I want my fleet back. And Axe is like, man, well, I'm running shit now. So Bo challenges the guy to a fight. And afterwards, she eventually gains the upper hand and winds up with her knife to his throat. And she spares him. But Axe says, I'll never submit to you because you don't have the Darksaber. And then at this point, Mando, now what would have been a fucking decent scene would have been eventually if Mando and Bo-Katan had to fight for the fucking blade. At least we could have seen, at least it would have been interesting in some regard. That's a fight that should have taken place between Din Djarin and Bo-Katan over who's the most fit leader. But you could tell they've been foreshadowing that Bo-Katan is going to be the fucking leader of the goddamn Mandalorians from the beginning. Why not just start the show off with fucking Bo-Katan if that's where you were going with this? I mean, this story started off great, man, but now it's just it's absolute fuck, it's trash, man. And look, so this is what happens, right? Man, Din Djarin basically says, look, Bo-Katan defeated this creature who basically, had me racked up and was cooking me on a spit. And so, because Bo-Katan killed that creature, she won the right to the Darksaber back. And so, therefore, she's the rightful possessor of the Darksaber. But why the fuck were you holding it and carrying it around after that any goddamn way? Why prolong all of this? Why extend all of this? It's fucking unnecessary. So in other words, eventually, well, look, if I had it and then I was defeated by X and she defeated X, then it's hers. Come on, what the fuck is this, man? This is absolute bullshit. It's junk, man. So anyway, all of the Mandalorians eventually concede the point. Bo-Katan ends up wielding the Darksaber and holding it up like, okay, now I run all of Mandalore again. I'm the big boss bitch. And here we go, man. Here we go. So a show that started off as a Western gunslinging show and eventually led to, a show that talked about a male figure being protective of a vulnerable infant with great potential. But so instead of the story just being that, now it's become what? A story about fucking female empowerment? This is fucking bullshit. But anyway, I don't intend for this to be long. I just wanted to come in and say something about it. I'm pissed off. This is one of my season 1 and 2 was a way for me to look at something and say, okay, well, this is a show that's oriented towards males. Okay, it's a great entertainment. The themes of individualism, power of redemption, the struggle for survival, the sense of adventure, the code of honor. It was all there. The lone gunslinger. It was all there. But now, what's left? Representational politics? When will these fucking companies learn? People don't want to see this shit. They don't want a didactic message of representation chock all throughout every last one of the pieces of entertainment that they're watching, man. I guess they will. I guess they don't give a fuck at this point. Nobody cares. I'm done, man. I'm through, man. I'll holler at y'all on the next one. I'll be back later on this evening, man. Me and Sandog gonna do something. I'll holler at y'all later, man.